Hello everyone, welcome to my nature diaries. I'm going to be showcasing today these beautiful, gorgeous little forget-me-not flowers that I saw around a lake that we fish at. My husband likes to fish there, and I couldn't help but want to represent them today. You can see I already have a little painting over here in their natural area, and then to the left I want to add a couple of boxes to showcase the flowers themselves, and then I'll be adding text line as well. Today I'm going to be using my Windsor Newton palette, and it's well loved as you can tell, but I'm going to be using mostly that cerulean blue and sap greens to really kind of just work on the lettering as you see here, and then later on I'll be using those colors to kind of work on the background as well. To showcase this forget-me-not flower, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using some different photos and just some diagrams to illustrate the features of them using this micron. I'm going to freehand it and just trying to get the main features, like the little curling buds of the flower stalk. They resemble a scorpion's tail, and that's kind of the second part of the name, the Latin name for this flower. And then also I'll make sure I include some individual blossoms, and I'm also going to put in the leaf shape and any kind of attributes with the stem itself. And then I'm adding these lines just to add the details and information about the specific flower parts. Using a Princeton 12 snap brush, I am now going to just continue on the background for this layout. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I'm making it really light because I'm going to be writing over most of that area. So I'm just going to be adding layers here, but I'm not going super dark because of that. And while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and work on paint the blue flowers down there, and using that cerulean blue. But I wanted to say, like, that's another highlight when you're showcasing a flower, is to put it in the landscape that you find it in. It's just a great way to give you an idea of where you found it, and it's a visual way of speaking to yourself or whoever's looking at your nature diary of thinking to themselves, oh, they must be by the water, you know, like they're water loving plants. It's a great way to communicate information beyond just, you know, writing it out. You can paint these little illustrations as detailed or as simple as you would like, but that's done for that box. And now we're going to move on to my little pressed flowers that I collected, just a very few, to put in this other little box area up here. Using some Mod Podge, and I'm using a mat here, I'm going to add those in with the simple inexpensive craft brush. I have my layout, and I'm going to just go ahead and spread that. I've already done it, laid down a layer of Mod Podge, and then I'm just patting, just tamping it on thick. It will dry clear, of course, if you've used it before. Adding some pressed flowers to a spread for a particular plant or species is a great way to highlight them as well, because it just gives you a little idea of what they look like. Of course, they're not pressed perfectly, but I always like to include the stem and leaves. I'm going to be using some permanent ink. That's Kuretake, one of my favorite inks, and then a dip pen to go ahead. And now I'm just adding this really scientific, detailed information and just little bits down here in this first box. And adding these little snippets of information is a great way too of just being able to identify the plant at a glance. I'm using now the whole left side of this spread to just talk about the flowers in general, the plant in general, and I'm just again highlighting information on when they bloom, again where you might find them, and just some general information. And I decided to stagger the paragraphs instead of just making them solid. That way it's just a little bit easier in your eye to read, I think, and if you just don't want to read a lot of text, then you can just, at a glance, identify what these plants are. As I continue to finish nature journaling here, and then I'm going to have my diary part on the right hand side, I'd like to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you like and comment. Let me know what's your favorite thing to nature journal or to write about. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Let me know too, what do you like to do more? Do you like to nature journal more, or do you like the idea of a nature diary, which is a combination of many kind of ways of writing? I'd really love to hear your thoughts about that. Well, as always, it's a pleasure to be able to share this time of creativity and art, and I always just really hope that you feel inspired as well. Remember, you are amazing and creative. Bye.